Welcome to the Main Event Broadcasting Network. I'm Timmy McCormack, Director of Athletic Communications here at Piedmont College. Today we'll be sitting down with head tennis coach Shane Wood, talk a little bit about the upcoming 2015 men's tennis season as the Lions get ready to start here in the spring. Coach Wood, thanks for joining us here on the Main Event Broadcasting Network. Appreciate your time.
My pleasure.
Guys have had a few weeks to get practice going a little bit. Of course, your men's tennis team is what we'll be kind of previewing a little bit here. So how have the men's looked so far? You return a good number of pieces, but how have they looked in preseason practice so far?
Preseason has been okay. We've had a few struggles with weather, a little bit of cold, which we always do, but we've had a lot of time outside, and we're starting to gel.
Okay.
We've got a couple of new pieces that are going to play, probably some big moments for us in matches. Trying to integrate the freshmen in with the returners. We got quite a few returners on our men's team, but so far I like the chemistry and I like how they're working.
Okay, and we talked a little bit about those returners. We'll get to those. You did lose 4 key pieces from last year. A couple of guys who were on your 2011 GSAC championship team. They were freshmen way back when, so it's crazy that class has come through and now graduated and they're off they go.
Yeah.
But that class has gone here from campus, 4 pieces from last year. How have you gone about replacing those pieces from last year?
Well, you can't replace them. I mean, the biggest thing for us was we lost a lot of maturity, a lot of leadership, and some guys had to step up into those roles. That was the biggest piece missing, I guess. I think talent-wise, we are maybe a little bit better this year than we have been in the last couple of years, but we've been hot and cold some in practice with just maturity and getting used to the college game, but we've had to have guys step up in leadership positions, which I knew would happen, but we've had some guys really do a good job of that. The guys that were freshmen and sophomores when Steck and Silverberg and those guys left, they kind of saw how it was done, and guys like Trey Martin and Robbie Warner and Mason Riza have done a great job of carrying us into the future.
Yeah, and the future looks bright as well. You return, of course, Trey, who was an all-conference performer last year. He's your only senior on the roster, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah.
And then you return, of course, the rookie of the year last year from the USA South, Metzger.
Yeah.
I mean, how nice is that?
It's great. It's really, really nice, and those guys have kind of picked up where they left off. They're competing at a high level. I think Trey has continued to be kind of an amazing story from where he started as a freshman. He wasn't even in our lineup, and as a senior, he's going to play really high in both singles and doubles, and we're going to depend on him to win a lot of matches. He works hard, and he just wants to improve, not on a daily basis, but minute by minute. I mean, he's trying to get better, and the other guys feed off that a little bit.
Yeah, well, he's been a big key piece for you guys the last couple of years. And like I said, all-conference performer from all-conference from last year. So really, really nice piece to have coming back. 11-7 last year, a semifinal appearance in the conference championship tournament. Probably one of the toughest leagues around for men's tennis here in the South, with the top group especially.
Sure.
How do you guys look to improve off of last season, and where you guys look to go so far this year?
Well, again, North Carolina Wesleyan has set the standard for men's tennis. They've set the bar really high, and they've got another fantastic group this year. Everybody's kind of looking up at them. But I do think we have closed the gap quite a bit with the 2 and 3, with Methodist and Huntington. They're both great programs, but I think the guys that we have in place this year, a mixture of the freshmen that we brought in talent-wise, plus the guys we've just mentioned, I think we've closed that gap. And I like to think the sky's the limit if we perform on court like I think we can. We've got a real good opportunity to be, near the top.
Yeah. Well, now that we move into the 2015 season, of course, the new pieces coming in are going to be the story a little bit as well. One of the big stories, Nathan Metzger, the younger brother of Matt from last year. So that's kind of crazy. Their brothers are going to be on there.
Right.
We don't know if they're going to be a doubles team yet. We'll see if they can kill each other a little bit. So we'll see if they get past the brotherly love. But what do you expect out of your newcomers, and especially a guy like Nathan, too, coming in a little bit kind of buzz around his play?
It's been a lot of fun watching those guys interact with each other. They're totally different personalities. You've seen that.
Yeah.
Nathan, totally different player than Matt, totally different styles, but they're both very, very talented. And Nathan, hits a big ball, has a tremendous serve, has a tremendous forehand. And what I've seen so far, if he can keep that level of play consistent, he hits the big ball, but can he hit the big ball 70% of the time? He's going to be a tough out for a lot of guys, and then nobody knows anything about him. So because we got him in January, so it's going to be a cool thing to watch him go out there and start competing with these guys and watching guys try to figure him out. And it is funny to watch those guys play doubles because Matt, the older brother by 18 months, and he's very quick to let you know he's the older brother, even though his brother's about 2 inches taller than him. You know, they kind of have this. It's more cheerful banter than anything else. I've enjoyed watching them on the court, and Matt kind of acts like the dad a little bit. And they're Metzger squared.
I can see that
to the team. So it's kind of cool. But they're both very talented, very good at doubles, which is something again we look for. A lot of kids coming out of high school here in the States are singles players, and doubles is a big part of the college game. So they are a luxury for us to be able to throw those guys out in doubles, and they know formations and they know the strategy of it, and they're helping our doubles game a lot.
And of course a big piece, as that's usually what you start with as well. I mean, we can start 0-3 or 3-0, and that makes a big difference in the rest of the match as well.
Swing, right? Absolutely.
It's such a mental game as well, as part of the piece as well. So a couple of weeks of preseason practice so far. Any key moments that stood out, whether it be a really emphatic good match that you've had so far in practice, or maybe something funny?
Well, there's probably a couple of things funny. I don't know if I can share them all on the air, but particularly, you know, we've had a couple of exchanges with the brothers. You know, I've played them in doubles, you know, together, and then I've also split them up so that they're competing against each other and just getting a mix in practice. And you know, they went through a little barrage of between the leg shots and behind the back shots that are kind of trying to one up each other, and the other guys are getting into it and being, you know, really cheering them on. We typically do it at the end of practice, just kind of let them loosen up a little bit, and it's been fun. It's been fun to watch those guys kind of go at each other.
We're excited.
Exchanging words and shots and looks and all that stuff, but then, you know, walking off the court together and going to the calf. It's been nice.
We're excited to see them play, and we won't get to see them play until March 13th here at home. That's kind of crazy. You got a lot of time on the road. You open up this Friday at Sewanee, and then you have Center the next day, I believe, as well. So how's the preparation been for the season opener, and what do you expect to see on the OD team this weekend?
It's always a kind of a testing ground for us. We play Sewanee kind of on purpose. They are a high-level team, typically an NCAA tournament team and a top 25 perennial. Men and women, but with their guys, you know, we've played them the last couple of years, and they've got a similar group. We always play them very, very tough. And it always just kind of is a kind of a measuring stick for us to see, you know, where we are. I love just jumping in, playing a high level of competition right away. The kids are prepared for it, I feel like, but it is, you know, we're at that point of the season where we're tired of playing against each other. So they're ready for anything, and you know, we jump right in with Sewanee, a very, very good team. But I like, you know, I like our mixture of players. I like our chemistry, and I know we're going to go compete. And then the match with Center is a match that's probably two very, very similar teams, very, very talented throughout. It should be a real battle. I'm excited about that one as well.
Looking forward to it as you get started here. Coach Wood, thanks for joining us here on the Main Event Broadcast Network. Talk a little men's tennis 2015.
It's my pleasure. Thanks.
We appreciate it. You've been watching head tennis coach Shane Wood talk a little about the upcoming 2015 men's tennis season here at Piedmont College, set to start this Friday, February 13th, as the Lions travel to play Sewanee, the University of the South. The home opener for the Lions will be March 13th against William Peace University. I'm your host, Timmy McCormack. We'll see you next time here on the Main Event Broadcasting Network.